First off, I will do the Jaguars, which involves unscrewing the carefully unscrewed pivot. Comes out together with the silicone washer on there, which has to be very careful not to lose. So those bits put in here so I don't lose them. I can go out of the way. Next up is to examine the edge on the loop so we can look for any imperfections. Okay, having checked them, and then mark the edge with the mark. It's a permanent marker. Just mark the edge, ready for checking the angle. I like to check the angle on every blade. I'm not sure why, but I always start with the finger rest and just set the blade in the jig. First of all, roughly by hand and eye, and then on here I have a mark on the wheel so I can check that it's actually at 90 degrees to the wheel all the way across. When it is, then I can check the angle on here. I'm going to start at 30 because Jaguars generally are 30. Just very gently up against the wheel, and the longer the edge lasts and the better the metal. 35 is absolutely bang on. I don't know if you can see where the shine is taken off the ink. Maybe if I do that you can see it. It shows me as I'm just on the edge. Do it again. Road. Square. Feel for the burr, and the burr is there. So now I can take it out of the jig, leaving the jig at the same angle. Move the wheel out of the way. Come on to here. The other blade is wrapped up in there. Come on to the hone. Lay it down. Take the burr off carefully. Give it a little polish. These have been done a couple of times before, so I don't need to polish too much on that. Swap for the finer block. Same again. And that, I don't know if you can see in there, you'll see the shine around the edge, right around the periphery of the blade. You'll see where I've just polished because it is slightly hollowed, the blade. That's that one sharpened. And then we go back on the wheel. And first of all, I've got to put a bit of polishing paste onto the polishing wheel. That is jeweler's rouge, basically. Put the blade back in. Find my mark and just check it's near enough. Because it's a soft, the polishing wheel is a soft wheel, it doesn't have to be perfect, but because it will mould itself around, but the blade needs to be the other way up. And then plenty of work on the tip end. polish the blade. And clean off, you'll see the polishing. You can see the polishing compound on the blade here. I just carefully clean that off and try not to cut myself in the process. Polish off. Now we move on to the other one. Get that out of the way. Wrap that one up. And it's the same process for this one. I will still check the angle. Put the blade in the jig. The mark on the wheel. Just touching the bottom of the mark all the way across, so that is correct. We've done it a few times, that's why I can get it level. Check for the angle. Now, just mark where the blade starts. I can tell from the noise that that's going to be correct. It's absolutely bang on. You can see in there where the ink has taken off, been taken off. Just see it there, let me see. Showing me that I have hit the flat of the edge. Come off square. Check for the burr, which we have got a very fine burr because I take off as least as I can. And back onto the deburring block. Good polish. That one. Swap for the finer one. Same again. And again, you can see where the polishing has taken place, just around the periphery. I'm not doing it the other side because I'll cut my fingers. You'll see it all the way to the tip. See the sharp line, the bright line just around the periphery. Back in the jig. And the jig is very important for holding the exact angle for the full length of the blade, which is also why it needs to be perpendicular. Just not touching the just right. Now we're ready to polish. Okay, because it's a soft felt wheel, it moulds itself. The angle isn't quite so critical. You can see where the polishing compound, hopefully, has built up on the edge of the blade. If I take a bit of that off, you can now see, you'll see the goo up here. Just take that off one, and then that's that blade done properly. Give them a good clean. Now it just remains to put them back together. Right, that's the two blades sharpened. Now the moment comes to put them back together again, and getting this one in here is always a bit of a fiddle, but they pop in. Put that in, put the silicone washer on the screw, drop that back into there. And this is where you have to be careful the blades don't touch yet. Get the screw started. And screw the two back together. Carefully screw them together, but keeping the blades at 90 degrees. Still not there yet. A little bit. It's got it tight, good, because that means it's snugged in. And back it off, tightened and balanced, so they're just nicely loose, but will stop somewhere about halfway to a third of the way to the tip under their own weight. That's near enough half for this. The next stage is to cut the burr off on wood-free tissue, and start off, first bit you do it in small stages, a little bit all the way down through until you've got the full. Then peel off one layer and test them unsupported on a single layer, and if it will cut that, cut through to the tip like that. If I do it that way, you'll see they're cutting through perfectly. They are done, and that's the first pair complete.